Oh, shit. Shit. It said it wasn't. Right. Are we live? Oh, God.
No. When you're putting your mind to it, you know exactly what to do indoors. How was that for you?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, it was such a strong race. We were all running so fast, multiple running in the 50s, so I knew I had to go out fast. I had Lieke in front of me, so I wanted to be in front, and I could hear halfway she was behind me, so I was like, okay, this is good, now we keep going, and this crowd is so amazing.
Hey. Right.
Hi there, folks.
It got there in the end. Now, there was no audio manipulation on that clip whatsoever.
There wasn't.
There wasn't. That's exactly what that girl sounds like.
It is. That is very, very weird. Very weird indeed. Oh, look, I can see us all up there on YouTubes and probably on my Twitter account as well. So, hello, good evening. Whatever. John introduced these beautiful people that we have below us on the screen.
So, good evening, one and all, to this Wednesday special. We have Natalie, Cheale from TNTRadio Live, and the infamous, some would say, the dangerous Rick Munn of TNTRadio Live as well. So, welcome, guys. Good to see you.
Pleasure to be here.
Good to be here.
It's as I said in my tweet earlier, the tables have somewhat turned. We are the ones that drive the show tonight, and by we I mean John. To be honest, he just throws stuff at us, and I just react. It's like I'm the missile. He just points me at something and just goes, "Go." And so, John, how are we going to start tonight? Come on, take us on a journey.
I'm gonna start because you guys had me on the other day speaking about some chap that got locked up in Rotherham for a series of sexual assaults against minors. And I thought I'd take it just one step further. Okay? Because what happened over the last couple of days was an Indian gang got caught trying to smuggle numerous animals out of Thailand, including a red panda. Now, I think these animals, if you know anything about India and what they've been up to these days, especially with that shocking thing with the girl and her husband that were traveling across, I think they'd done 60 countries, and then they got to India and they were assaulted by 7 men. But anyway, I think all the animals got saved from what I think could have been a horrible, nasty end at the hands of all these Indian chaps. Especially the red panda. It was in like a suitcase. It looked dead cute. Red pandas look dead cute at the best of times.
I was gonna say I'm really ignorant here. What does the red panda look like? I'm thinking of like a cuddly toy.
It looks like a tiny little cuddly bear.
Yeah. Okay, well, let me look it up.
Yeah, red pandas look brilliant, especially when they're startled because they stand on their back legs and put their paws up, as if you've held them up.
Right, so John, that's a very interesting place to start. I thought we'd actually start asking our guests some questions, but okay, that's where we are. So I'm going to do just that. I'm going to say, Natalie, Rick, welcome to Chasing Dissent Live. I hope you are both well. First of all, introduce yourselves and why you guys got into broadcasting. Let's go there.
Natalie,
who wants to go first?
Natalie, of course.
Well, I'm a bit of a nutcase. You probably know that. Rick does. You guys, I think that's fairly standard. I started in the lockdown doing videos, which I know Ben did as well, and I know Rick did. And for some reason, people wanted to watch them or listen to them or for a talk some sense in between the craziness and the nonsense. And through that, in the end, I got a phone call from Rick, who was at TNT, and I started on his show once a week, just talking as I do, reacting and talking about the headline news. And then we ended up on a show together, and now we are here sitting with you guys, and I'll move over to Rick.
Yeah, well, I similar to Natalie, I just started, making little video clips during first set of lockdowns, just mental health awareness. No one listened to them. No one was really interested. Then a few people started to listen, and then they picked up a little bit of traction. And to answer your question, how did I get into broadcasting? I don't know. I fell into it, I suppose, because someone in Australia saw one of the clips and sent it on to someone else. And then they invited me onto some TV show for a 10-minute stint. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a wind-up, so I ignored it. And then a month later, they wrote back and they said, look, are you coming on or not? And I did some research, and I didn't know anything about it. It was called Asia Pacific Today. So anyway, I was asked on there. Mike Ryan, who's the CEO of TNT, was hosting that at the time. TNT didn't exist. And the show went well. And then afterwards, he messaged me and said, look, I'm going to get a radio station together. I'll send you over some equipment. I'll be in touch. And I thought, he's drunk or he's crazy and he's rambling, and nothing happened for about 6 months. And then at Christmas 2021, he said, okay, we're ready. Are you good to go? And I was working full time for a large government organization at the time. I thought he wanted me to come on and do like a half hour here, a half hour there. And he said, no, I want you on 4 hours a day, full time. And I said, I can't do that and do a full-time job. So he said, well, you quit your job and this becomes your new job. So it was a bit of a gamble. I didn't know him. I had no idea how I was ever going to be paid. I was quitting a job I'd worked at for 11 years with benefits, holidays, pension, all that crap, which I'm not in. I'd never joined, by the way. I was the only member of staff that never joined the pension scheme out of 3,000 people. But anyway, I took a gamble, and it's so far, it seems to have paid off. And as Nat explained, she was one of my first guests. And then an opportunity became available last year for a co-presenter for one of my shows. So I thought about her, suggested her. They were happy with that. And the rest, as they say, is history. So here we are tonight talking to you guys.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, no, and it's good. I really do enjoy your guys' shows, and actually, I used to enjoy your videos quite a lot, Rick. And I used to enjoy the fact that you shot a lot of them in black and white as well. I appreciated that. But no, with the TV show in Australia, I think I actually saw that. I'm pretty sure I did see that. So if it's those guys that moved on from that, that's actually pretty awesome. To be fair, how do you? Do you see TNT growing? Do you see it getting bigger? Is it getting bigger? So can you tell us a bit about that?
Nat, do you want to say anything, or do you want me to answer that one, or what do you want to say?
I don't see the I'm not privy to like the viewing figures, but I mean, I can see since I've started, we get more on the online chat. We're, everything. We've got guests on the show now. We get much more interaction, and the aim is we want, like yourself, we want more people out there that aren't mainstream media, that aren't following the narrative. So, places like TNT, we want them to keep growing, because otherwise we've just got this one story being told over every single channel. So I think Rick would probably concur.
Yeah, just in terms of actual growth, I mean, I've been in from the beginning, right from day one. And when we first started off, it was radio, audio only. There was maybe 6 presenters in total, maybe 3 studio people doing audio only. So we had about 10 people. We've got about 72, I think 75 on the books as per right now. So the operation has expanded quite a lot. Obviously, we've went to video streaming as well, and we stream across so many platforms. And of course, all the episodes are available on Spotify and Apple Music, and it's running into millions and millions of downloads now, and the viewers across all platforms, which it's hard to track if you're just keeping an eye on each platform. There's a lot of people tuning in, new people tuning in, so there's definitely growth there, and we obviously aim to continue along that trajectory because we believe we're a unique proposition. No one else is streaming 24/7, which is what we're doing, live as well, and unedited and uncensored and unscripted across topics that you would hear in the MSM. So yeah, I believe it's there for the taking. I think we'll take over the world, or we will implode. That's been my humble opinion. Yeah, I think we're going to take over as a unique proposition, or we're just going to be we'll fade into nothing over time. I don't believe we'll end up in a mediocre treading water halfway ground situation.
Yeah, I'm completely with you there, because it's very clear that the mainstream media they're losing traction, they're losing viewers, they've lost touch with reality, they've lost touch with the average person, which all of us are the average person. the people employed by the mainstream media to sit there and read you your news, I'm going to say it, look down on you because they've gone to the prestigious university and they've done all of that and they think they know better because they're the ones with the qualifications. But people don't want to hear this crap anymore. What people want to hear, especially now in the digital age, is opinion-based news. And it's they try and do it, they dabble in it sometimes in the mainstream media, but it always sort of swings one way. They never give the other side, and I'm not talking left and right here even. They never give the other side of any given narrative even a bit of breathing space. And, you know, sometimes they do tell the truth, but it's also a case that people like us, people like you guys, sometimes have to step in. And I would say always ask questions. Always got to bloody ask questions.
Oh, here's a question. Here's a question for you, and I'm going to bring it up on screen from Adam, right? Oh, here's a question. How, or I think he means why, but how are TNT not struck on YouTube?
Yeah, that's a good question.
That's a good question.
No idea. I don't have a YouTube account. I know they work on censorship strikes if you say the wrong words. Maybe it's because we only have a live stream on YouTube. I think we only have a live stream on YouTube. We don't have individual video clips. So, for example, if we were to do, I don't know, a clip in this COVID or, say it doesn't exist or whatnot, maybe that would attract a strike. But as far as I know,
thanks, Rick.
Yeah. No, I mean pneumonia. That's what I meant to say. Okay, but that's what I mean. I don't do live video streams, or I haven't got a podcasting channel myself. I don't know how the mechanics works, but I do know if you go onto the TNT YouTube channel, I think it's just one video, which is a constant live stream. So maybe that's why I actually don't know.
But you know what? I'm glad that they're not. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm glad that they're not.
Maybe it's because they've never stopped the live stream.
Yeah. But you know that's a good thing. And at the end of the day, people ask me all the time. In fact, Adam, who put a question up just then, he works with us and he does a lot of our backgrounds and stuff like that for us. And he keeps asking me, why are you on YouTube? And I say, because that's where everybody is. They've got 2 billion active users. And so you have to go where the people are in order to get the ear of those people. So, yes, we will continue to remain on this platform as long as we possibly bloody well can, because everybody who does anything like what any of us do should.
Well, we should, I think, Ben, we want to be able to speak to the normal person. And like you said, if the normal person is on YouTube, it's all very well saying, oh, you're only be on BitChute or Rumble and stuff, but not everybody is there. And I think what you were saying before about the mainstream media, I think we try and give a bit of personality. We try, like you do on your show, to give a bit of ourselves across. Like me and Rick often say on the show, you might disagree with me completely. You might think I'm a complete idiot. That's okay. But on the mainstream media, everybody comes across almost as this politically correct robot. And I think that's what's different on something like Cheale and Dissent or TNT. We try to put our own, stamp on it as well, which I think is what people want to relate to now, isn't it? Aren't we just bored of the news readers just reading the same old script that you could go from BBC to ITV to Channel 4? You may as well be the same. It may as well be the same program, right?
Yeah. There's one thing. Just to address that question, John, that your listener brought up about why don't we get strikes. I do know that on Spotify, for a period last year, it doesn't seem to happen anymore, but for a period last year of about 6 months to a year, as soon as we would upload anything, any interview on Spotify, instantly, if let's just say the content contained a certain word beginning with C, I don't want to get you guys a strike if that's the way it operates, but Spotify would immediately flag that video with a blue warning and direct people through to a certain website where they could get the correct information. So they must have been running some kind of a scanning program. As soon as every uplift hits, and if it flagged up a certain word, it got flagged. So if you looked at TNT's uploads for the previous day, all in back catalog, probably 80% of them would have had a blue warning and a redirection.
I can tell you exactly why that happened, Rick. I know exactly why that happened. That happened because Joe Rogan is Spotify's highest paid podcaster. I think they're paying him like $100 million. I think his new deal's $500 million or something like that.
It's a lot.
Wow.
But he started having people on who were, let's say, against the narrative, and I'm talking not just podcasters, I'm talking doctors, professors, people like that. And the usual suspects got up in arms and they started writing articles about Joe Rogan and they started making videos about him and saying he was a conspiracy theorist. And so Spotify implemented this policy to calm those people down. So that's why that happened to you.
But I mean, the mechanics of it, though, it happened instantly.
Yeah.
So literally, as soon as the episode would hit Spotify, something must have ran across that program and flagged it for a period, and it doesn't seem to happen anymore. So
same thing happens. Same thing happens here, Rick, on us, because every time we put up a live stream, our ad revenue, our monetization goes to may not be suitable for all advertisers, and then we have to appeal that, and usually, 3 or 4 days down the line, once everybody stopped looking at the show, it then goes green again, and it is suitable for all advertisers, but we don't get any ad revenue because nobody's watching the show anymore.
Everyone watched it. It's passed on.
Yeah.
So it's a good way. It's a good way of YouTube getting the ad revenue and leaving us out.
Yeah. So I don't know if that answers the guests or the listeners.
Yeah, I think it does.
That's the way it stands with us at the minute.
I think you're right, though. I think it might be something to do with the stream, because I noticed. I tried that.
I think if they had individual episodes up and they stayed up, people would keep going back to check them and then report them, and then you'd get your strike. Much harder to do that when it's only a live stream. You can't keep going backwards.
Once the stream goes over 12 hours, YouTube don't retain it.
They don't save it.
They don't save it. So as soon as it stops, it disappears.
Exactly.
Could be secret.
It could be, but at the end of the day, we are glad that we don't think anybody should be struck for having opinions and having dialogue and having conversation anyway. It's so frustrating to see it happen to people. I mean, we had a warning on our channel that, John, you had to take a re-education course, didn't you, to get that warning removed from our channel?
Yes.
A Google re-education course. They really are cracking down on people on these mainstream platforms, except X/Twitter. But I'm sort of confused about what's going on over there.
Really going off X/Twitter in a big way, because it just seems to be that it's turning into an echo chamber that you don't want, because it used to be you got stuff from everywhere. But now it's the Wild West, but it's only the people that you've either followed or have some kind of loose connection with. And you don't get any new ideas or information, and basically you're just going around in circles chasing your tail. I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all.
Okay.
I was going to say, I've been moaning about it, as Rick will know, for so long. I can't bear it. So I can go on one of my rants, but I would agree with you, John. It's got worse and worse. So I literally only see the same about 50 people. And even if you change from For You to following, you're kept in these little echo chambers. And it's such clickbait. It's almost like it's encouraging you to put out these posts, this sensationalist, I think, is it Matt Wallace or something like that does the Taylor Swift videos that goes, what's wrong with this?
And Dom Lou Craig.
And they want me to put up, that's what they just want me to put some dodgy picture or saying, am I going to show you my tits? Retweet this, and if I do that, I'll probably get 10,000 more followers if I constantly put that crap out. And that's basically, he's made it a business. All he wants is people to pay your money for your blue tick to put out clickbait sensationalism, and if you don't do that, the algorithm will destroy you for it. And
here's the secret. If you don't pay for the blue tick but use Firefox and ad blocker, you get 0 adverts. Whereas when I was paying for a blue tick, you still get adverts.
Yeah, you do. I can attest to that. But he's released his new version, hasn't he? If you pay me £20 a month, you'll get 0 adverts.
Yeah, I saw that there was an ad came up. They wanted me to, go for a blue ticker. Not they, but there was just a standardized, promotional thing. Yeah. And I said it's 22 quid a month. And here's the thing, I definitely have noticed. I don't use the platform anywhere near what I used to. I used to be built up a good following, and one thing led to another. But now I just post sporadically on it. I don't care if I'm strangled on it per se, because I have another outlet, which is TNT, or talking to guys like yourself, and you guys have a pretty much an unfettered outlet as well. So it's good to have that. But what I've noticed genuinely, I mean, I used to put up those video clips that you talked about, Ben, when I had 10 times less people allegedly following me, which is a misnomer. I had 10 times more interactions, views, etc. So now that it's went up exponentially, the growth of my page, my interactions have fell away to almost nothing. So I'm not I don't follow algorithms, and I don't really care for them, but without a shadow of a doubt, I can attest to it that something weird is going on.
I can completely concur. Right?
Yeah,
because I got banned, as you know, Natalie, for 11 months off of Twitter for no reason at all, before Elon Musk purchased it. And then out the blue on Christmas Eve 2022, it came back. I got my account back. So there we go. But before the ban, I was getting 5.6 million impressions a month. After the ban, I get 100,000.
So I am actually Ben, similar.
Right, let's move off Twitter and move on to Musk then. So what do you think of Musk? Are his intentions honourable, or is he just out? Is he just out to screw everybody for as much as he can get?
I've never been a Musk fan. I think he's. I won't get you points by being really awful. He's a Jeremy Hunt. No, he's. I'll
see you next Tuesday.
Yeah. He wouldn't have been allowed to buy Twitter if he wasn't one of the bad guys. They simply wouldn't have let him. He's into Tesla, transhumanism. He's as you said, he's made the site worse than it was before. I mean, I used to actually be almost addicted sometimes. Like I could. Some days I'd be like, I put on Twitter and I'd be like, no, 2 hours later, no. Now, like you said, I actually want to put my phone down 2 minutes later. That was the point of him buying it. It was to destroy free speech, and I believe that's exactly what he's done. And of course, it was always to become, wasn't it, the X app? So it's going to be an everything app, which is why. Yeah, exactly. So no. Do I think he's a good man? No. Do I think he's on our side? No. On all fronts. Rick, I don't know.
I've never been a fan of Musk's. Have been calling him out for as long as I've had an opportunity to call him out. I mean, you don't need to dig too deep. He shoots himself on both feet when it comes to his own position. So when he did buy Twitter, or X as it's now become, he said the simple reason why we bought this was, he said, it was a catalyst to the development of the We app, which is based on the Chinese app. That's the all-encompassing app. You do your banking on there. You live on that app pretty much. You can't really function societally without that app. So that's what he wants. And of course, information. You talk about the algorithms that are run within social media platforms. It's the same with every social media platform. They're all constantly, incessantly gathering information. And with the rise of AI and the constant development of AI, they need as much information as they can to be fed into those programs to enable them to refine them. So every time you do use Twitter, every time you send a DM, every time you put a post, every time you like a post, every time you retweet a post, every time you go on to the live stream like this, it's information that's being used and fed back into the machine and into the algorithm, not for our benefit. Musk is an American government contractor. He has a satellite system floating around over our heads right now. He's involved in transhumanism, brain implants. He wants to develop EVs even further than what they are at the minute, and on and on and on and on and on it goes. And still people are saying, but I think he's one of us. I think he's one of us. Okay.
Do you know what? I'm completely disappointed.
I can't help you.
I'm completely disappointed in the development of vehicles, electric vehicles or otherwise, because when I was a kid, when I was young, I hoped by now we'd be like the fucking Jetsons. And what's going on, people? What is going on?
We're more like the Flintstones, you know.
Oh no, I did read plans for the UK's first flying taxi electric vehicle. So it's not quite the Jetsons. I think it will be rather a lesser version, but it'll probably blow up midair or something.
Yeah, of course.
Knowing the electric
Especially
vehicle,
if it's electric, all them batteries in it.
You see on the EV front too. Listen, Musk is desperate. Be under no illusion, he's desperate.
Oh yeah.
He put a post up on his own platform, advertising $1,000 discount of Teslas during the quiet winter months. I mean, like, he's using it to say, here, have $1,000 off, please buy my vehicle. And he released plans this week to build a new super Tesla that incorporates SpaceX technology that will launch people from 0 to 60 in less than 1 second. Some physicists have worked out there that'll pull 3 to 4G off the traffic lights and probably result in instant death for the drivers. Why do we need space-age rocket technology in the cars when in Wales, for example, you could get done for speeding on a Motability scooter, let alone a space thruster, Millennium Falcon style ex-Tesla? It's just insane, but that's the route he's going down. He's getting desperate. And by the way, one of the unique selling points for the Teslas was he was making a song and dance saying they're bulletproof. You can't shoot through them. Yeah, the body is bulletproof. The windows are not. Well, so if you're sitting at the traffic lights in LA and they do the Crips do a drive-by, if they're shooting the windows, you're going to die. It doesn't matter if your doors are bulletproof or not, Elon. Your windows are not.
I mean, it's not even that the doors are bulletproof. They stand up to a handgun.
Oh,
he didn't fire at them with an AR or a rifle or anything like that. So.
No. But I mean, I even think on a moral point, I don't know, I think I read this week that Jeff Bezos is now taking over him as the richest man in the world. But either way, the man's got a lot of money.
I cannot, I'm sorry to interject, Natalie, but
yeah.
Jeff Bezos is the man that took Captain Kirk to space in a dick-shaped rocket.
He really did. He's Dr. Evil, for fuck's sake.
He really is. He really is.
But I can't remember what I was going to say. Yeah, I was going to say, right.
Stop the live stream right now.
No, stop. That's it. Done.
You always end on that. Leave the one word, John. So I think it's time we all went to
yeah, that I can start coughing now as well.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say that if you were that rich, if one of us four, because I believe we're all decent people, were as rich as him, in order to make the world a better place, it wouldn't have been to buy a social media platform and spout off freedom of reach, not freedom of speech, not freedom of reach. Yeah. I would actually be trying to do some good in the world. He's not just a little bit rich. The money that he has, he could actually make a real difference to people. The poverty gap we talk about, all of those things. He could go out and actually save lives, not through this rubbish microchip that he's talking about. He could put some money into Africa and he could change a whole country. Yeah, that's what. So that in itself just tells me that, sorry, I'm just not buying this good man story. So
can I say one more thing on the Musk business? Okay, for anybody, and I'm sure there's people out there that are agreeing with what's been said. Some people may be shrugging their shoulders, said you've missed the point. He wants to restore the town square freedom of speech. Let me challenge those people. Go onto the X platform, his platform, go onto his account. And recently, of course, there's been a very high profile case with Julian Assange. And again, setting aside whether or not you believe that's real or a psyop or not, he's supposed to be being persecuted for freedom of speech. Yeah. Look up Musk's account, go and do it after this show or do it now. Yep. Put on the search function and Google or search for Assange on Musk's posting history. There is one single tweet concerning Julian Assange from 2022 in which Musk said, I am not expressing an opinion on this. I want to ask the people what they think. He hasn't even said a peep about that, let alone support it or be against it. And this is from the so-called bastion of free speech who wants everybody to have freedom of speech. Think about that, people. Go and check it out for yourselves. The man is as shallow as a puddle.
Yeah,
I think you're right. Okay, let's
you're right.
Shall we move on? What do you think?
John, let's move on.
What do you think about the German and the Russian interception of the German intelligence general's talking to each other. Have you heard anything about that?
Yes, I have.
Right. So
I haven't. But Rick will tell you I'm brilliant on war type stories and stuff.
So what happened was basically German generals were having a chat about certain people that were operating within Ukraine, and some of them being foreign nationals, like maybe Germans, French, British, because they had to be there to operate the high-tech machinery. And so the Russians have intercepted this conversation, and then they've published it out. And the German intelligence service investigated it and came to conclusions. And one of the conclusions was, and it's really no biggie, because one guy made a mistake, and the German intelligence service have come to the conclusion that one must be careful when using hotel internet. It may not be secure.
Well, yeah, be careful in hotels, period. But that story. I mean, think about it. Germany are admitting, that they were planning X and they were planning Y. When does a government ever admit any wrongdoing on their part or take responsibility for any wrongdoing on their part? And then, of course, there was a German source this week had leaked that there may be NATO boots on the ground in Ukraine as well. So there's been a little bit of a spotlight shone on Germany this week. I don't know whether or not they're being lined up to take flak for, stoking the fires of war in Ukraine or not. But listen, since when does a government ever say, yes, actually, we were plotting to blow up a bridge in Crimea that could have launched us into World War III? They'd have said, no, it's a deep fake. It's not real. It's voice software manipulation. Why would they admit to something dumb as that?
Well, because it wasn't them that's planning to blow up the bridge. It's the UK that's planning to do that.
Yeah.
Let me interject. Even on the idea of government. So I'm going to tangent off a little bit because I was scrolling through the old Twitter, the X, the other day, and I came across something from Tucker Carlson. Now, no matter what you think of Tucker Carlson, I think what he said here is absolutely true in that the idea of government and democracy is an illusion. And the reason is that these people, we elect these people to represent our interests. And when they start doing things like censoring information to the general public or classifying information, they are not giving us the full picture to be able to, as their boss, go out and make a decision informed as to who we elect next. So they do these things in secret and they don't tell the people their boss. Now, how can that be a fair democratic process if we don't know what they're doing? We don't know what the people we employ are saying. We don't know who they're meeting with. And in the same breath, it is frustrating to me, guys, because how can we have true democracy? I think democracy doesn't exist, first and foremost, and it's because of this. Do you guys agree that government is not doing what it's supposed to be doing? It's not a representative of the people. It thinks that it's our ruler.
No, it thinks
really got it backwards.
It thinks it's our mommy, and all we do is suckle at its teat. That's what government's all about these days.
But if Rick or Natalie started doing things that were to the detriment of TNTRadio,
we had a guest on today. And I'm not joking. This is what she said. She described Jeremy Hunt lying naked, covered in Nutella on a banana. I'm not joking. And
why?
That vision, I don't know. That vision won't leave my mind. And already I'm traumatized by this show. John, you're causing me a lot of trauma today.
I've got an image of a big teat.
Sorry.
I mean, I think this jumps back. I know you guys are having a bit of a laugh there, but I think this jumps back as to why shit like this is needed. Yeah. Shit like this is needed because the democratic process is dead. It's an illusion. And then you get the government mouthpieces, which are, especially in this country, you can certainly say that the BBC and the ITVs and the Sky News are the government mouthpieces because we have this fucking thing called Ofcom. And if we didn't have that, maybe the press would be free. But whilst that exists, it isn't. So there is no democracy.
I think it's also, Ben, important to think about what people think government is supposed to do. I do follow a really good account on Twitter, and one of the reasons I like about it is because he's thought-provoking, and it's rather, like we said, like an echo chamber. He puts things like, a government really should protect the people's freedom of speech and freedom of choice, and basically just sit back and let us do that. But it's become, as John has said, instead, people want government instead to become a nanny state who makes decisions for them. Yeah. People are frightened now to take any responsibility for anything. So it is almost like they're doing the opposite of what a real government should be, which is overseeing to ensure that we actually have our rights. They're doing the opposite now and taking all of our rights away.
And one of the best examples in recent days has been the unlikely resurgence of a failed cat who has come forth as some kind of saviour. People in the truther movement seem to be looking at this guy as some kind of saviour. And
who are we talking about here, by the way?
George Galloway.
George Galloway. That's why
Galloway.
That's why he did. I was doing an impression of that. I was doing.
Should I be?
George Galloway went on Celebrity Big Brother.
I was doing an impression, literally on Big Brother. He became a cat, and he started going.
You'd lost it, Nat.
No, he went on Celebrity Big Brother. And he was doing some role play.
This was it. He went.
Meow, would you like me to be the cat?
Would you like me? Meow, meow.
It's all making sense now.
Yeah, so I wasn't just suddenly deciding to be a cat live on air.
Natalie was. You were playing along brilliantly. I thought it was brilliant. It's just a pity Rick spoiled it. But yeah, George Galloway only has one thing in his mind, and that is George Galloway. That's the only thing George Galloway supports. And people are looking at him as a saviour, but what he's done is he's seen Rochdale and he's thought, wow, there's an opportunity because I can take that group of disgruntled Muslims, really, and I can use them to vote against the government.
And you know that because the first thing he said when he walked in and got sworn into Parliament was about Gaza. Now, as an MP, you're supposed to be supporting and representing the people of the area to which elected you. And I'm not sure George Galloway is the MP for Gaza.
Oh, Rochdale's just south of Rafah.
Here's the thing too. So I saw a picture of him being sworn in, and he was clutching a Bible, swearing himself in the Holy Bible, and somebody was saying, "Why
wasn't it the Quran?"
It wasn't Muslim or his wife is, and I'm just saying, he's pictured there with a huge Bible under his arm. Does that not?
He claims to be a Roman Catholic.
Well, he does.
Well, didn't he have on his Twitter page for ages that he was part of Russian disinformation and stuff as well?
Oh, well, that's only because he worked for RT. Everybody that worked for RT get labelled as.
I was going to say, John, I thought it was a brilliant thing that you said in terms of George Galloway and he thinks about himself. I put other people in that category. I think Donald Trump is the same. Yeah. I think Donald Trump is a narcissist who cares only about Donald Trump. He's not a people man. Nigel Farage I put in the same category. Yep. There are certain politicians who they play as narcissists do. I'm going to appeal to the public and I'm a people person. I'm doing it all for you. When really I put all three of those people, Galloway as well, in the same category. They care about nothing but themselves. They couldn't give a monkeys if everyone died in front of them, as long as the rest of the people in the world were still worshipping them for fame. That's it. They don't care if it's good attention, bad attention. They'll take any of it as long as they are in the news.
Yeah, could I actually say one thing as well, John? Before we moved on to Galloway about Ofcom as well, because the person who asked the question initially about why TNT weren't struck on YouTube because. My belief is because we're live streaming. The same thing. The questions are being asked. Well, why aren't you guys censored on? Well, we're not. We're not Ofcom regulated because we're not broadcasting live. For example, the way GB News was, so we can't attract Ofcom complaints. Yeah. But tying that back in again to Elon Musk. Interestingly, when he bought Twitter, became X, he made it very clear, we believe in freedom of speech, but he was rubbed over the knuckles because he was told by the European information commissioners that it doesn't matter what you want to put on your platform, you will be regulated, for example, in the UK by Ofcom, and if you're breaking the rules, we will simply pull the plug. So you can say whatever you want, your users can say whatever they want, but we will deplatform you. And he famously made a comment about a month ago to an Irish news reporter where he came out with a very blasé statement to say, under the new incitement to hatred speech laws coming in Ireland, I will pay for the legal fees if anybody that's... But then last week, he also said we will fully comply with any rulings that are given by the Irish government because he has his Twitter headquarters in Ireland. So again, flip-flopping. It doesn't take a lot of digging, guys, to get the of what that guy's about.
I'll ask you guys, have you ever heard of an actress called Gina Carano?
Yes.
Yes.
So Gina Carano is an actress who was fired by Lucasfilm and Disney Star Wars. She was in the series The Mandalorian for some posts that she made on Twitter. Now, I'm not going to repeat what the posts were, but I will say this, to Musk's credit, Twitter are paying all her legal fees. So maybe there is something in that.
Yeah,
or maybe it'll get him a ton of publicity.
I'm like,
listen. None of us are whiter than white. All of us have little agendas of our own. We'd all like to get our profile raised. We'd all like to reach more people. We'd all like to do better in life. Is no different. But when anybody, Natalie, you said that you listed a few politicians there. This guy's a narcissist. I think with very, very few exceptions, everybody in the political arena and everybody that has any kind of high profile on mainstream media or huge access is an absolute through and through narcissist, if not psychopath, if not sociopath. There are a few exceptions, very, very few. So this business with Musk, yes, if it gets her a little bit of publicity because she did speak out and did the right thing and she did get hit because of it, then that's a positive outcome to maybe somebody else's ulterior motive. And I think it's very important too to use the tools that are available to us, even if they're the enemy's tools, if it means it can bring about a victory in our end. So I still use Twitter. I don't pay for the blue tick, but I use it. I don't care if they algorithm me. I don't care if they snoop on my feed. I'm using it to connect. For example, I connected with Natalie on Twitter. I got a job on TNT through a post I put on Twitter. I'm connecting with you guys because of Twitter. So yes, although it's an enemy run operation, let's use some of the enemy's resources against the enemy if we can without compromising ourselves.
I've brought this up with Rick a lot, but there's a famous documentary that looks at famous CEOs and their brains, and basically like top CEOs, so they're basically top CEOs have got the same things as a sociopath or a psychopath. They've looked at serial killers, and they've looked at the I think it's the front and the hippocampus, and basically in order to get to the top in business and be cutthroat and not in order to make that much money, you have to have no empathy, essentially. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Sometimes you just can't fire 5,000 people and then go to sleep knowing you've ruined their lives.
And that's kind of what I'm saying. To be a politician, to be top at business, there's got to be a level of not having any empathy. You can't be a really
on the screen.
What's that?
Rob Bruce, put Rob Bruce's comment on the screen, please. It says, give that lady a Nobel Prize. She needs to shine more.
No, you'll just make her head big and then she'll have no empathy and wipe us all out.
John, put it on the screen.
I put it on the screen. It's been up.
Good boy.
I put it up and then brought it back down.
I can't see any of these comments, by the way. Has anybody said anything nice about me? No.
No.
They've said some things about Lucky Charms, but
the big thing is nobody said anything bad about me yet.
No, that's
take the win to enjoy.
No, I'll tell you what, the chat on YouTube has been just flowing, and it's all very positive in both of your guys' direction, because we are to an extent preaching to the converted, but at the end of the day, going back to what Rick just said, That is why we're sitting on this platform right now, because this is where the people are. And if we can, even if people don't agree with us or don't believe what we say, if they can get some entertainment or some joy from what we're doing, they can call us an asshole at the end of it. I don't really care, but they've listened. And that's what really matters. And then now they're thinking. And then they're thinking, well, I don't like what they say, but maybe the point they're getting across, because me and John tell our audience on pretty much every show, do not believe a word we say, because, and it's the same for anyone that listens to you, and especially people on platforms like Twitter and X who say, I'm the only truth. I'm the only person who knows the truth. These people are feeding you a pack of bollocks. And if you think we're feeding you a pack of bollocks when we're talking to you, what we want you to do is go and look at individual situations and news stories and things like that from multiple angles and come to your own goddamn conclusion. You don't have to agree with us, but we want you to actually look and ask the correct questions.
We say exactly the same though, Ben. We say question everyone, trust no one, including us. Like, just because me and Rick say it doesn't mean it's true. We can, for all you know, I could be a complete sociopath myself.
Oh, I think you are.
She is.
I think she is.
I mean, I could just be pretending to be a nice person.
I don't know about you two, but I've met her.
Ben himself is a narcissistic conversationalist.
I am.
He definitely.
Or is that just part of autism as well? Then maybe.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
So there's a comment on the screen just now that I feel I must read out because it's Wee Fat Shug and he says, "I like you muchly, Rick. You liked my name on TNT."
Right.
I know that name. I was going to say, I recognise it from the online
TNT
chat.
live chat most morning. So thank you very much, Wee Fat Shug. And I saw an explanation you gave of your name. I think Sugar has to do with the name Hugh, although your name is not Hugh. I might be wrong about that one, but that's where you took your name from. So yeah, I make mental notes about everybody. I'm watching you. You don't realise it, but I am watching.
That sounded kind of intimidating. I'm watching you. And we have Rob Bruce says, "Keep going, Rick. Amazing to see you here."
Good.
So see, now everyone's being nice to you, Rick. You see.
You know, I need the old ego stroke just before I go to bed. You know, get a little ego and a little dopamine hit before I go to bed. Why not? Why not?
Nothing,
anything.
Nothing like a little stroke before you go to bed.
Oh, you just keep your opinions to yourself, Mr. John Liberty. I will say one other thing, by the way, in case I forget this. You were talking about we're talking about using platforms to further our own ends, and we shouldn't be apologetic about doing that. So I detest the BBC. I detest everything they stand for. If I was offered an interview with the BBC tomorrow that was unrestricted and I was uncensored, I would take it, simply because if I can go onto any platform and speak my mind freely, even if it's into the lands, then why not do it? Because you're breaking out of that.
Ben was offered an interview by Channel 4.
I would say I disagree. I would never go on the BBC because I don't think it's possible to get that.
If it's possible, but what I'm saying, if it's possible, and let me give you one example. I only have had one appearance on a larger platform, which was GB News. I was invited to go on to GB News about a year ago. It's not something I solicited. They approached me because they'd again seen a video I put up about, I can't remember what the subject was. It was to do with 15-minute cities, right? So I was asked to go on, and being open and honest, they didn't say, you can't talk about this. You can't. They said, we would like you to discuss this with our presenter. So I said, that's fine. They didn't tell me what I could or couldn't say. And when the show went out live, I think, and then it was then uploaded onto the internet. It was uncensored, unedited, and it was no different than anything I would say to you guys or anything that I would say on TNT or on my own Twitter channel. And again, whilst I wouldn't be a fan of that platform or a supporter of that platform, I thought, why not use that platform the same as anybody uses TNT as a platform to get their message out, whether people agree with it or not.
I think my concern is, do you remember that documentary the BBC did about vaccine injured.
Yes.
Do you remember how badly that was edited? And I remember putting out there, what did you expect? If you go do a program on the BBC, right? You really thought you were going to come out of it in being allowed to say so that type of thing. Then no, that's why I said they were all stupid. Sorry, I was like, I don't have any sympathy for you. They all got angry. Oh, we were represented really badly. You went on the BBC. What did you think?
Let Ben tell his story. He's about to explode.
Because Natalie, I can tell you exactly why this is, because they didn't ask the right questions. So during the first lockdown, when all of the near the end, when all of the marches really exploded, right? And I was doing all of the live streaming and all of that. Channel 4 approached me and they said, we're doing a documentary about the movement and Piers Corbyn and people like that, and we'd like to have you on for an interview. To which I responded to Channel 4, I will appear on your platform on these conditions. And these conditions are that anything I say to you is put out verbatim without any editing and without any censorship of any kind. And they come back to me and they said, no.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. See, I'm only used to doing live. Yeah. All I've ever done is live stuff, and I took it for granted that the platform that I was going to be given was live, which it was. And I didn't make any conditions. They didn't impose any limitations on me. But to get back to what Natalie said, I said, if I could go on uncensored and live on the day, I would do it. But as Ben has rightly pointed out, there could be a list of things that they say, well, we're not going to allow you to do this. And actually, we may have full editorial control. We can't cut and paste, in which case I would say, no, it would have to be live and uncensored.
Yes,
because
that's
the way to broadcast. That is the purest form of broadcast.
Agreed.
And the mistakes and the laughs and the technical glitches add flavor to the reality of what we're trying to do. I personally love it. I love live. It's very stressful sometimes, and it can be mad, and it can be completely it can be completely crazy, but that's what attracts me to doing live stuff. So I just assume most people do it that way.
During the beginning of the restrictions, my wife was the go-to person for BBC Radio Scotland to talk about the experience and what was happening in gyms. And she must have been on about 3 or 4 times on Kay. I can't remember her name. Kay, she's quite famous.
Burley? Kay Burley?
No, not Kay Burley. It was BBC Radio Scotland. So it's Scottish. But anyway, she was on 3 or 4 times, and then the last time she went on, she told them straight what had happened to the gym, and that the council had sent the police round to make sure that it was closed, and threatened to arrest the staff and any customers that were in it. And she's never been contacted since.
Yeah.
I was never asked to go back on GB News, by the way, after my appearance either. But not that matters.
Well, we must be doing okay, Ben, because we've been back on TNT every week now.
Yeah. Must be doing okay.
Love you guys.
I mean, my favourite type of guests, as you both are people that just give their own opinion. That they're just down to earth. That it's not. Some people put on like a TV mask. I'm not interested in any of that. I just want to hear a person, and it does. I actually don't care if I disagree with you. That's absolutely fine. I like guests that have come on and disagreed with me, and like me and Rick said before, that's what we should be encouraging. Educated, healthy debate. We don't all have to agree, and nowadays it's almost like you have to be in this camp or you have to be in this camp, otherwise you can't be a guest and you can't talk to you. I hate all of it. Like, can't we just have a discussion nowadays? Like we do. That's what we try to do on TNT. That's what you try to do here. That's not happening elsewhere though, is it?
No, it's not.
They're talking about ghosts in the chat, and I've got all cold, and I keep thinking I hear things behind me. What is going on? I've got a story for you after.
Okay. Well, what I was going to say is that this is why increasingly I've also spent a lot of time focusing on the other channel, The Real Review UK, because it's all about positivity and it's all about fun, and it's all about joy, and it's it's movie reviews, and it's also about helping the disabled, because I'm a disabled man myself. And what we intend to do there is some real good. We're trying to build the biggest visual accessibility guide to theme parks on the planet. We've already done the 2 Disneyland parks in Paris, full accessibility guides for disabled people for both theme parks. I'm working in tandem with Merlin UK, the 2nd biggest theme park operator in the world, and they are giving me help and resources to do the guides for the theme parks all over the UK here. And whilst I love doing Chasing Dissent, I'm finding myself more and more, wanting to put that positivity out there just as much. And I think we all need a lot of this in our lives, because that's the thing about Twitter, is also it turns you into a miserable fucking wreck.
It does. I have like a personal conflict in my head a lot, Ben, because like I want to be positive on Twitter, which I think I try to be most of the time. I do try. She feels
miserable, but she does try.
Sometimes when I go on and do a rant, but but then for obviously for the job, I have to read the headlines. So there are some days I feel like I'm gonna have a really positive day today, and I think, and then I'm going to have to go and read lots of doom and gloom. But even on our show, I try to make the doom and gloom positive if we can.
Have you ever watched Slow Horses?
No.
Oh, you need to watch Slow Horses. It's really funny. It's about MI5, but it's about a kind of, their backward cousins that didn't quite make the grade and they've been put out to pasture. And this part that's meant to make them leave. But anyway, Gary Oldman's in it, and he's very good. But there's a part in I clipped this, and there's one of the guys just going, "Oh, fuck off," and I just use that to reply to people now on Twitter. Just send them this video.
I just want to respond to Adam in the chat. He says, Ben is the fastest bloody disabled protest goer I've ever been on a protest with. That's because I got 4 miles an hour on my mobility scooter, bitch. That's right.
Yeah, not fast enough for wheels,
though,
were you?
Suddenly turn black there.
What's that?
Did you suddenly turn black?
Yeah. That's like Ali. What's that Ali G? What did he have to used to do? Boyakasha. No, was it? What?
But no, I don't actually go out on protests anymore, and the reason I don't do that is medical. I couldn't do a day out on a protest anymore. I'm on too many painkillers and things like that, and I have to take care of myself, and it's as simple as that.
And they don't achieve that much, really.
Well, no, but even if they did achieve something, I've now got to a point where I know that I can't physically go out on one of those things for a day, so I don't do it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And like John was just saying, Ben, I've changed my mind about the protest a little bit over last year. I remember you were the London big London protest, Ben, and I think they're trying to they want these protests to happen. They're egging on. They're even making some of them try just oil all of this, and then they want obviously to them that in new laws they can't protest. So it's like a double-edged sword. If you protest, good, bad.
Let me throw some to people's work here. Right?
Oh, hold on, stop. Dalek has arrived. Right. The audio will go, but it will come back. So give me 10 seconds.
And then it'll come back.
No. It's I don't know what the hell goes on.
I've got a point. Are we back, John? John, are we back? Back, John, back. Oh, John, are we back, boy? We both from Brokeback Mountain. What's going on there, John?
I don't think we're back somehow.
I could say anything right now, like, John, you're a complete tool. And he wouldn't...
No, he's not reacting at all. Can we just swear at John for 5 minutes and see what happens?
I mean, we could, yeah. Yeah, apparently it's all good now. Why is he sitting there shaking his head?
Hello, John.
John?
Maybe having a turn. John, are you okay? Do you need us to phone an ambulance?
John.
Right, there we go. That's the audio back.
Okay.
There he is.
We were concerned about you for a second.
So let me let me throw a point then into the works. And I've said this to the audience as well, but I've actually wanted to say this to you guys, and I haven't really had time to say it how I want to say it. But we hear about controlled opposition all of the time, and I never joined one of these groups, any of these movements, Stand Up X, and all of these people.
No.
Because the more I thought about it, the more I thought, and like I say, people can throw me under the bus for this. I don't care. Aren't they really the definition of controlled opposition? Now, hear me out here. These groups set up these big protests in London by calling the police and asking for permission and getting permission and working in liaison with and planning the routes with and being facilitated by the enforcers of the people that they're supposed to be protesting. That's just my opinion. And I honestly think that, you know, if you really want to talk about controlled opposition, people asking for permission.
Ben, that's why I stopped going to the protests, for that exact reason. Because I don't know if you remember, you might have been it as well. There was one where we got directed. The police just happened to be there, and then it got parted. One went one way, one went the other, and the police knew exactly where everyone was. And I thought, this is about as scripted and as staged as it could possibly get on. I thought, I'm not having a part of this anymore. A protest, ultimately, like you said, it should be set up, you know, overnight. Like today, we could suddenly go, right, guys, let's just all go to London tomorrow at 9. We'll go to this place, silent protest. That's how a protest should be done. It shouldn't have to be organised 4 months in advance with, you know, the police's say so, routes plan. No, that's not a protest. That's like a festival or an event that's planned. And you may as well put drinks along the way and
that's exactly what happened. But that's exactly right. So that's one thing I will say about them. The atmosphere was brilliant, right? The atmosphere was electric. Yeah. People were coming together. But I think in the eyes of the government, and this is just me spitballing, but I think in the eyes of the government, they were going, right, give them their 1 day a month to vent, and then they won't come back.
Yeah, Big Brother style. What is it? When you shout at the TV when they do it in 1984? 2 minutes of hate. Yeah, it's basically almost it's the same analogy, isn't it? Give them their 1 day to shout in London, and then maybe they'll shut up for the rest of the time.
But let me give a positive slant on this one. Okay, let's assume they were fully controlled opposition. They were completely organised by agent provocateurs. They were completely under the control of the police. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Well, of course, it's not a good thing, but can good things come from it? And the answer to that is yes. So my personal opinion all the way along was, irrespective of whether or not you think protests are effective or ineffective or controlled or free-flowing, one thing that you can't deny is that for a period of time, people that were isolated socially, that were feeling extremely set apart, maybe from friends and family, so-called friends and family that had disowned them because of their views on lockdowns and vaccines and the whole COVID, or the whole, pneumonia epidemic that was going around at the time. I'm trying not to get you guys into trouble here.
Don't worry.
But people did meet up. People did meet up, people did form relationships, and it maybe sustained a lot of people through otherwise what would have been a catastrophic time in their lives. So, Natalie, you've just admitted that you and Ben met up on a protest. I know you met up with Refuse Nick Paul on a protest. You met him in person last week. So that's a positive. So it's like, the thing about the BBC, what I said about the BBC, yes, there are mortal enemies, but we can't use sometimes what they have to bring about our own ends. And I think for sure, the one positive, super positive takeaway from every protest that ever happened was, I think a lot of people that were feeling vulnerable and low were sustained through a very dark mental health period. And funnily enough, those protests maybe just what kept some people going rather than topping themselves or self-harming or doing whatever.
I think particularly the lockdown ones were really, really important. I'll never forget, there was with me and Ben, it was like a moment from a film. Like it was about 50 meters away, and Ben went, and I was like, we're doing that all the way for about 50 meters. It was lovely. It was a shame it wasn't recorded, Ben. It would be a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
But I do think now there's, like desensitization, normalization. Everybody's now, there's a protest for this one day, there's a protest for this the next day. Do you know what they mean? Nothing. That's the problem. When something's like it trivializes all the matters, because everybody just hears protest now. And are they even listening anymore? The general public just raise their eyebrows, roll their oh God,
the British protest. Have forgotten how to protest. Anyway, the British have forgotten how to protest effectively. I mean, I always tell this story, but we were in France a few years back, and we're driving back down towards Calais, and all of a sudden there's a mini shanty town and a bunch of fires right in the middle of the motorway. They've literally erected wooden huts and they've set tyre fires just in the middle of the motorway. The French know how to protest. The British, we've forgotten. We've completely forgotten how to protest.
Yeah, we've never been very good.
That's true. Take from it what worked for you. And if it's not your thing, here's the other thing. People talk about the effectiveness of protests, and they didn't change much, or we didn't see a massive change in government policy. Let me say this, and there was an old analogy that somebody said to me once about, if you're feeling like, am I making any difference? Is this all a waste of my time? Is this futile, what we're doing here tonight? Does it really matter in the scheme of things? There was an old analogy about a beach full of starfish that had been washed up on shore, and there was a little girl there standing, throwing them in one at a time, and there was millions and millions and millions of them. And some guy came up and he said, "What are you doing?" She said, I'm saving this starfish through throwing it back in the ocean. He said, "You're wasting your time." He said, you're not going to save all those little starfish." And she said, "No." And she showed him the one she had in her hand. He said, "But I'm going to save this one." And she chucked it in and she just went about her business. I think if we manage our expectations about what we could potentially achieve from doing Chasing Dissent, from doing TNT, if I can genuinely impact one person every time they tune into a show, I don't care about changing the world. I don't care about reversing globalism. If someone can tune in and say, "You know what, that kept me going for an hour," or someone's listening here tonight going, "I was feeling hell depressed when I came on. I'm enjoying what John's saying. Ben has made me laugh. I'm associating really tight with what Natalie's saying." Well, then I think we've accomplished something, and I think we're too maybe demanding of ourselves, and we set our own expectations too high on what success actually is. And I think we've all succeeded a lot over the last few years, even though it maybe feels like sometimes we've accomplished nothing. So I don't know if that's worth saying.
Fine words, young man. Fine words. However.
No, go on.
However, I was doing some research last night into psychology and the way the brain functions, believe it or not. And there's this thing called backfire, right? And it seems to be that people who are entrenched in a certain position, the more evidence that you give them that their position is wrong, the stronger they believe that they are right.
Cognitive
doubling
dissonance,
down
surely.
In a way, doubling down on positions.
I
don't labor points anymore, guys. I mean, genuinely, if somebody asks me my opinion on something, I'll give it to them as simply and concisely as I can. If the person then turns around and says, "That's garbage, I don't believe any of it," I'll just say, whatever, and move on. I won't waste my breath or time trying to convert anybody, trying to turn someone from their opinions. I believe for your own mental health, certainly state your opinion, make your point clear, and don't expect people to change to think your way any more than you will change to think their way if they're starting to hammer stuff down your throat, and it keeps you sane.
I think that has become painfully obvious to me over the last few days, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because
I think
people won't change. And sometimes it's annoying because you sit there and I know that I'm right because I'm always right.
No, you're not.
Yes.
Humor him. See, if you say it's not, then you'll get into an argument. What you should be saying is, "Yes, you are." That shuts him up straight away.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I do now on Twitter. I send that gif of what's his name, John Candy, going, "Okay, sure, yep, you're right."
Yeah,
that's it. Yep. Yeah.
I think for me, why I struggle with my mental health, and I don't know if I said to you two, but I really was in a bad place in the first lockdown. I had all my support services taken away. I was living in a tiny little flat on my own with 2 special needs children. I have called myself into the crisis team because I knew I was in a bad place. And for me, I took everything to heart so badly that because nobody was listening to my opinion, like I was trying to tell them about COVID, nobody wanted to hear me. You know that, like you were saying, John, nobody will change their mind. I fell out with so many people. I really felt like I needed to speak to people, and I needed to change their minds, and if they would listen to me. And I've now gone back to the position of, do you know what? You're entitled to have your own opinion. I'm not trying to wake anybody up. I'm not trying to change your opinion. I'm just going to sit here, and I'm gonna give it out. And do you know what? I feel like the best thing, and me and Rick talk about it a lot. I just try to be the change I want to see in the world. I try to go out and I try to be positive, and I try to live in the real world. I try to be positive on Twitter. I try and I try to make my life a good thing, and I try to be a role model that other people might look at and think, oh, she's doing well. Maybe I'll go talk to her. Maybe she's got something to say. Because when you're just there and you're just moaning and ranting and dooming and glooming, nobody wants to hear what you've got to say, whether you're right or wrong anyway. So I don't know if that makes any sense. So it's basically, I just don't take life as seriously or you know,
see if you ease off a little bit too. If you ease off a little bit too, my own personal experience is I get a lot of people messaging me privately or emailing me because they see I have my beliefs, but I'm not getting tied up in knots about them. I'm not trying to ram them down anybody's throats. So they'll come to me privately and they'll say, listen, Rick, could you, I've listened to this and I think you might have a point there. Could you expand on that a little bit more? Then they're coming to me and asking me what I think, rather than me trying to railroad them or corral them down a certain road. And I think that's very important too.
How many people have you converted to flat earth this way?
7. I'm hoping for the 8th.
Says the man with a fucking flat Earth map right
it's
next to his
not
left shoulder.
a flat Earth map. It's a latitude and time calculator.
Is there an eyeball on it, John? Is there an eyeball on it?
Can we use this as an example? The amount of people that I see getting their knickers in a knot about whether the Earth is flat or round or a cone-shaped or cylindrical. Okay, let's say I'm not a flat earther, okay? And you convert me tonight to be a flat earther. What changes in my life? What changes in your life? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Or I convert you to be either. No, but let's say that you are.
I don't think probably any of us are.
It's their life's mission. It seems to be their life's mission to spend who you are and every possible amount of energy they have to convert people to their way of thinking in this case. And let's say you're successful. Let's say all that time and energy is successful and everybody converts to your way of thinking. So what? It doesn't change the amount of money you have in the bank. It doesn't change the stability of your job. It doesn't change your health. It doesn't change your family. It changes nothing. It's a time and an energy trap. And sadly, so-called truthers are falling in. It's tragic. People that have fell into the time trap and the energy trap, wasting their time on bullshit that doesn't make any damn difference in the real world. I'm sorry to say that.
You're right.
Wake up, people. If you say you're awake, wise up and think about what you're doing.
But I think it's also, if you think you're awake, it's that when the lockdowns and restrictions are in place, everybody said, don't listen to the mainstream media, don't even read it, don't turn on the TV, it's absolutely rubbish. But those same people are the ones, my normal friends who aren't into this, don't watch the TV, don't watch the news, and don't know what's going on. Do you know the only people I know who spend all day, every day, reading the mainstream news and reacting to it? You weak truthers. Yeah? Do you know what I mean? There's the irony. Yeah? Get off the internet, go and live in the real world for a couple of days and start reacting to every mainstream media news.
What's the expression? Get out there and touch grass, I think is the expression.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And because actually, they keep going, I bet all of these people are wishing they weren't vaccinated. I'm like, most of them don't give the vaccination a thought in even a week, because they're getting on with their real lives. They don't sit on Twitter all day.
I'm going to call some people. I'll call some people out while we're here. Let's do it. Let's call some people out. I hate the people, and I despise them with a passion, who want to attack somebody because they might have had a medical treatment.
Guys in the chat, hold on, the guys in the chat, you want to cut that out, please, because I know it's chat, but YouTube looks at everything. So
yeah, they do. Adam, can you moderate that a bit, please?
Oh, what naughty words?
They're saying naughty things. That's all.
Just
have upset the flat earthers.
But the point I'm making here is the people that attack other people, and I see it all the time on Twitter going, you can't have an opinion on this because you are treated, or go and get your next booster is just their answer to somebody. What is that achieving, first and foremost? And secondly, if you want people to come together and come to your way of thinking, then why are you attacking them on something that, in all honesty, they probably got done anyway, just so they could get on with their lives because they saw no other way out? So why on earth are you attacking these people for making a decision which, when they've had propaganda of any kind shoved down their throat for 2.5 fucking years, they've gone and found the way out? Why are you attacking them for that? I don't get it.
I've never judged people, because at the end of the day, I've been a victim of an abusive relationship before, and so if you've been a victim in that sense, at that time, how awful would it be if someone had said to me, "It's your fault, you should have known"? Yes, and ultimately they were abused. Most people who got the vaccine were coerced. They were abused. Yes, okay, then maybe not everybody
done that, right? I mean,
whether they did or they didn't. Whether they did or they didn't, it's their
because
choice.
Of the platform we're on, so we have to cool that sort of talk down a little bit.
Okay.
But
sorry.
In the grand scheme of things, right? In the grand
You're never
scheme
coming
of
back
the
here
entire
again.
of course you are. I'm loving this. Anyway, but in the grand scheme of the entire situation, the entire
everybody makes their own
overarching of everything.
Everybody's entitled. But everybody's entitled to do what they think is best for themselves.
Absolutely.
That's freedom of choice.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to touch on Natalie's point here, because I know what it's like to be in an abuse, be on the wrong end of an abusive relationship.
This is the narcissism, the conversational narcissism coming in now.
But what you can agree on, what we can agree on, is everything we saw from our so-called overlords felt exactly the same. It felt like gaslighting. It felt like control. You can go out for an hour a day. You can do this. You can do that. What was the difference in what was done to everybody and what's done to an abused partner? Nothing. There was no difference.
Sorry, I was going to say as well, listen, there's an old saying, don't judge anyone unless you've walked at least a mile in their shoes, right? So, for example, I'll give you 2 examples. One, I had a great guest on the show last week who was, he lost his job because he didn't take the products, and his wife lost her job because she didn't take the products, okay? You know what I'm talking about? But he did say during the interview that his children did. Okay. Now, immediately that attracted, what kind of a person is that? He would listen. His children were grown up adults. Yeah. They can make their own mind up. I'm sure he said, guys, you might want to think twice before you make this decision. But if they're over 18 years of age, or even younger than 18 years of age, there's nothing he can do to stop them doing it. Okay. It doesn't make him a bad guy. Doesn't mean he's failed as a parent, because I don't know about you, but I'm sure you've witnessed to your family members about what maybe actions they should or shouldn't have taken over the last few years. And I'm sure maybe some of them listened, but maybe some of them said, you know what, you're crazy. I'm going to take advice from... Right. So I rest my case. Does that mean you've failed or you're a bad person? No. You've spoke what you believe is your opinion and the truth, and she has chosen not to listen to it. That's up to her. She's an adult, and if we believe in freedom of speech and freedom of bodily autonomy, that also would extends
to work the other way.
Sticks of something or the other. Another case, just one other case, one of the most incredible orators and freedom fighters that I know that I've had on the show, don't want to name the person who it is, but they did take the jab. Why? Because they weren't allowed to see their family for 2.5 years because of the most terrible lockdown conditions on planet Earth at the time. And this person thought, I may never see my mother and father again. I don't want this. I don't want to take this. But if I don't and they die, I won't even get to see them at the funeral, or sick in the hospital, or maybe even see them again. So that person took the jabs despite being absolutely against them because she was forced and bullied and coerced. I haven't been put in that position. I was never threatened with the loss of a job. I was never threatened with not seeing my loved ones. And maybe if I was, me included, maybe I would have wilted and done it too under that immense psychological pressure that Ben alluded to earlier on. It was the most intense period of psychological pressure in human history. And I haven't walked in those people's shoes, so I can't judge them. Do I think they did the right thing? If they thought they did the right thing, then they did the right thing. My opinion doesn't really matter.
But I also have a problem now with like people who got angry at the time for people who had been I'm trying to not say the wrong words, taken the jibby jabby and were saying, you should go take it. And they were like, oh, we need body autonomy and you shouldn't judge us. And those same people now will sit there and go, the jibby jabby people are the worst in the world. They've ruined my life. And I'm thinking, well, hold on a minute. You can't have it both ways. And I was actually going to do a video on this at some point. I'm getting really fed up with people who are just blaming the jab for all their problems in their life when they sit there smoking and drinking and literally not doing a damn thing to make their own life healthy, and still 3 years later complaining about people that made their own freedom of choice and it's ruining their life. Well, maybe get off your fat arsehole, right, and do something yourself. It's really winding me up. But then these people who sit there drinking all night on Twitter, I'm so drunk, the world has gone away.
All the fat people are going to be so upset at that.
Calm down.
But do you know what I'm saying?
Have a glass of water.
Oh, the jibby jabbies have ruined my life. No, they've not ruined your life. You've ruined your own bloody life.
Nasty Nat. Yes, this is the real Nat.
Right, keep talking. I need to go and get some water.
I need to cough as well.
I think we've killed John. I think we've killed John. I think Natalie might have killed herself in that. But was that We Fat Shug in the chat says, clip this. Well, yeah, I will get John to clip this. We'll clip that rant, and we'll have him send it over to you because it was pretty good.
But you do know what I mean, though. These people are literally doing nothing but sitting online complaining at other people, taking no accountability or responsibility for their own lives, and leading terribly unhealthy lives and sitting there trying to claim they're better than somebody who might be down the gym, living really well, just because they might have taken one medical treatment. It's ridiculous. So
the other thing is, I don't know about you guys, you two and John, or the people listening in at the minute, but personally speaking, I have enough aggro and troubles and shortfalls and shortcomings in my own personality and in my own life that I need to devote as much time as possible to making me a decent human being or a better human being or a healthier human being. So what other people do with their body, like everything else, listen, we can give our views and opinions on it, but please don't get too tied up in what other people have or have not done. The question is, what are you doing? How are you handling your own business? And is your house in order, rather than worrying about what everybody else has been doing with their bodies? Did he change his shirt, or has he got a jumper on? Christmas jumper?
I'm frozen.
You've not been... I love the jumper, by the way. That's beautiful. Darth John.
It's a Christmas one as well.
Yes.
We've actually bamboozled John so much he thinks it's Christmas. That's hard. We've knocked him off his train of thought.
Oh, hold on, John. I've got a friend for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm bloody frozen. This is nice and warm.
He's making a great
by the way, even though I was even though I was moaning at fat people or people that drink or people that smoke, what I am also saying is it's your choice to do that. So it's just as much your choice to go and drink as much as you like, or take drugs, or take the vaccine, or whatever. There's this choice. They're all a choice, and they're all the same thing. And people aren't understanding that actually, if you're smoking and drinking and you're overweight and stuff, that's actually as unhealthy as taking the vaccine. Yet they put themselves on a pedestal just because they didn't take one medical treatment. So that's at the end. Who cares about any of it? It's your freedom of choice. Go live your life the way you like. I couldn't really give a toss, basically.
Let's say you have a look, because obviously the first people that we should have reached out to, or probably did reach out to, our so-called loved ones, okay? Our loved ones. And let's say, God forbid, our loved ones ignore us and die because they didn't take our expert advice. At least for what it's worth, you can say, well, I did bring it up, but they did exercise their freedom of choice as a grown adult, and they went and did their own thing, and then so be it. So, and don't gloat, by the way. A lot of people are gloating at the minute, saying, well, look at them now, they're regretting taking those jobs. I don't gloat at anybody's misfortune.
I would also just like to say that I took none of them, and I'm very, very ill, and I keep coughing and nearly dying on air, so I don't even know if I'm going to make it to the end of the show.
You'd probably be better taking your shots, but anyway.
This is taking a turn, isn't it? I'm having too much fun now. But the point I was gonna roll on from Natalie is, right, first and foremost, I am a fat man, so naughty.
I'm sorry.
I think she was having a dig at me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I know, but
I'm fat as well.
I can't really, as a disabled man, go and spend all my time in the gym.
She's taking clothes off now. Did you just take your bra off?
Right, that's it. I'm joining him.
Why are you guys taking clothes off?
I'm going to keep mine on.
It's fucking freezing here.
And I want a special t-shirt for you. It's sparkly and everything. So it's a TNT uniform. It says, I think I talk too much.
No, not at all.
Not you.
Bloody hell.
I'm waiting until the 16th of March, because on the 16th of March, the UK theme park season starts. And do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get out and I'm going to go enjoy myself.
Yes.
I'm going to make videos enjoying myself, because sitting at home and being bitter about everything, and we all did it. Let's face it, we all fell victim to it at one point.
Yeah, we did. I did, definitely.
It done our mental health, it done our sanity, and it done our physical health absolutely no good. So, you know, I know that we all get a little bit animated, and we're all getting a little bit animated here, but I think the point of the matter is, don't get so hung up on beliefs that you have. Remember, there's a whole bloody world around you. There are people that love you, right? And do you know what? I lost sight of that. I lost sight of the people that mattered, that were right in front of me. And everybody's got that somewhere. And for those who don't have that, go out and make connections. Go out and meet people. Go out and see. If you can't see the world, see your local area, because just sitting behind a screen all day and getting mad and angry, I think it ruins you. It ruins you.
I think, Ben, for me, like you, I got suspended, and I think I was suspended for about 9 months on Twitter. Whoa, it really opened my eyes to that Twitter isn't representative of real life, and there are people that haven't had a break from it, and who are so, you can tell they've never had that kind of epiphany. They're still in the doom and gloom every day. They're still reacting to the same things. They're still like, oh, the world is ending, and we try to do it all the time on, even when we finish the show on Open Line, we both say, get out there in the real world. Make sure at some time today you go out and you have real world conversations, face to face. Yeah,
if the world ends today, where would you rather be? Sitting staring angry at your phone? Because I know where I'd rather be. Holding my wife and children.
Oh no, I was going to say I want to be with you, lovely people.
Cheale's not. But you know what? There's no point in worrying about things you can't change.
No, there isn't.
And
there really isn't.
And I made the thing. I took the fear litany from Dune, the movie or the book, and I put it on a short and I put it up on the channel. And Ben goes, "Why are you putting that up?" Remember? You were like, "Why did you bother putting that up?" And then
the poem from Dune, from the book Dune.
It's I will not
fear is a mind killer.
Fear is a mind killer. Fear is a little death. That But anyway, I put that up on YouTube on Shorts, and 6,500 views later, Ben went, "Right, okay."
Okay. All right. That's fair enough. And somebody gave you a fucking super thanks
They
as well,
did.
didn't they?
They gave me a tenner.
They gave you a tenner for it.
Oh, so you got that one wrong, Ben.
Ben, just on that note, you being a metal fan, you'll remember a band from back in the 90s called Fear Factory, and they actually released an EP called Fear is the Mind Killer as well, which is a heavy piece of metal as well. So that just links in with what John said with a quote from June. So there you go, yes.
Simon Gold's in the chat. We better not bring up anything about music in case he gets it wrong. Sorry, Simon. I love you dearly. I really do.
Hey, Simon.
Hi, Simon.
Bored as Simon.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Anytime I was out on the protest, I would wear a high vis that said press on the back so that people... I'm riding around on a mobility scooter anyway, but so that people would know to just get out of my way because I'm filming and stuff like that. And Simon Gold would always come up to me and literally press me in the back and go, "That's what your back says." And just press me over and over again.
That's literal, that is.
It took me a while to get that, and I was like, "Oh, it says press."
Yep. Careful what you ask for.
Oh, dear.
I mean, I couldn't be mad at him.
Oh, it's too lovely.
Okay.
So does
He's
anyone
always happy, Simon.
do any of you guys follow Formula One? Just asking.
A long time ago, nothing recent. No.
I only watched one about, I think it's last year, and it was the one of accusations of cheating. Like halfway through, I was like, "Oh, I hate these races."
Talking about accusations of cheating. What about Christian Horner?
Oh yeah,
Ooh,
yeah. So that's what you've got to wonder when somebody's that rich and like he's got all this adulterous stuff. It's literally he's got so much cover all over the mainstream media. That's Jerry
Halliwell,
isn't it?
Yeah.
You'd think
I'll be back in 2 minutes.
He'd have enough money to stop all these accusations happening. But I'm getting bored of it. It's all day, every day. I don't care who he's sleeping with or who he's chatting up.
Yeah, but it's not about that.
Is that what it's about?
No, it's not about that. It's about getting. It's about Jos Verstappen and him seem to have fallen out, and it's about getting either him out of Red Bull or getting Max out of Red Bull.
So I did say there seems to be a reason. It was just so much attention on one person's affair. And I'm thinking, so maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, it's a fit up, or they're trying to work something, because once the guy that owned Red Bull, Dieter Mateschitz, he died in 2022, I think. And I think since he's died, because he was very much in Horner's camp, but now there's a kind of division between the two major shareholders, and what they're trying to do is, one's trying to get them to move to Austria, and Horner. I mean, Horner's got this billion dollar complex in Milton Keynes, so he doesn't want to move, 10,000 staff to Austria. So, that it's all about big business.
But there's so much money in Formula One. I mean, so much, isn't there? That's it's
I don't follow Formula One, but let me make a recommendation. I'd like to try and make some recommendations. Even if you're not interested in Formula One and you haven't seen it, watch the documentary called Senna, about Ayrton Senna, the rise and what happened to Ayrton Senna. It's an incredible piece of documentary filmmaking, and it is incredible on so many levels, and I think it would resonate with a lot of people that are actually watching this at the minute, fighting against the establishment, fighting against politics within Formula One, being a maverick, not being afraid to take chances, and just being absolutely living life to the full every single day. So that's a recommendation. I know nothing about Verstappen or what you're talking about, but watch the Senna documentary. It's incredible.
And that's actually going on from sport. I'm just going to have another little rant. I get annoyed as well when people says
starting to take over, guys. By the way, she's starting to take over.
I know. The narcissist Natalie coming out. Yeah. No, I was going to say about everybody always moaning if you enjoy something. So I enjoy sport. I like watching my football. I like having a bet. If the Formula One was in the background, I'd watch it. I grew up with sport, and everyone goes, "It's bread and circuses." So I might put like a football post up, and then everyone goes, "Oh, it's like you're interested in football. You shouldn't be writing football posts. You nasty, horrible woman for enjoying something. You shouldn't have any joy in your life. You should sit on Twitter all day and moan about the world."
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? How dare
I know exactly
How
what
dare
you mean.
you enjoy bread and circuses?
But you know what? One of my outlets, and this is just a personal admission, one of my outlets, many people on here will know this, is when I get overloaded, I go to Disneyland. And that's not a joke. I go to Disneyland and I have an outlet for 3 or 4 days.
I've been.
My friend takes me
Had
usually
a fantastic time.
Yeah, my friend takes me usually 3 or 4 times a year. We go out and I just de-stress and I de-calm. And
that we have a segment for that called Have Cripple Will Travel.
Yeah, have cripple will travel.
because you get to travel cheap when you've got a cripple with you. I mean,
you get to
bring an asthmatic to Disneyland. The time that I went, I must admit, I had an incredible time with my sister-in-law and her family. But one of their kids was an asthmatic, and because he was asthmatic, we got fast-tracked on every single ride, and we all piggybacked
exactly
off the back of this kid's asthma.
I get it all the time.
Yeah, I got my 8.5 meter camper van parked in Disneyland's RV park for what was it, 15
euros?
15 euros, yeah.
Thanks to me.
Yeah.
but the point of the matter is, I used to get people because during the lockdowns, I was getting on a plane maskless and flying to France. When people were going, oh, you can't travel, you can't do this. I'm literally rocking up to Gatwick Airport on a mobility scooter and going, I'm off. You could do anything you wanted to if you just wanted to do it, if you just did it. But people would message me and go, Disney are the evilest corporation on earth and they're sucking the souls out of this, that. And why are you going there? Because it helps me up here. I don't
like watching the football. Yeah, like watching the football does for me, and I'll get people sending me nasty messages and the same. You know, it's all bread and circuses. People like you are what's ruining this world. You should be interested in politics. I'm like, oh, I'm not allowed to watch a football match anymore. What a boring world.
Years ago, listen, when I went to Disney, it was about 6 or 7 years ago, and anybody that knows me knows I'm not a Mickey Mouse kind of guy, right? I like my death metal. I like my, things that aren't very Disney-esque. So I almost begrudgingly went to Disney like a right old miserable gat, fully expecting to have the most horrible time of my life. And let me tell you this, we went to Florida, we went out there with the in-laws. Traveling with another family is a big no-no for me, and especially when there's kids involved, big no-no. Going to see Disney and Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck, no-nos. It turned out to be one of the best weeks I've ever had in my entire life, and I loved every last second of it. Now, would I go back there at this point? No, because I can find happiness and solace doing other things at the minute. But if it gets you through, you don't apologize to anybody for it.
I don't apologize for it.
Give anybody an explanation of what you do. And for all the people throwing stones in the greenhouse or in the glass house saying bread and circuses, let's take it all back to Twitter and X and social media. Yeah. That's the biggest bread circus show on earth at this moment in time. It's not a physical location. It's an online entity. So stop criticizing and don't be such
everybody.
A
Did you go out to NASA?
No, I didn't. Actually.
You should have done it.
I went to two water slide parks that were incredible. And I went to NASA. Planet or the movie place, and I went to Disney
Universal Studios.
Yes, Universal Studios.
Oh, Universal Studios is fantastic.
I had a blast everywhere, but I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't want to go back now. But at the time, it absolutely was like a medicine for me because we're going through a hard time at the time.
Yeah, and it's a suspension of reality, isn't it? It's a suspension of reality.
Can I just be a misery and say that I went to Euro Disney once and I absolutely despised it every single second. I hate the characters. I hate the busyness.
No, you didn't. You're only saying that. See, coming up to Christmas, all she did was complain about Christmas. I hate Christmas. And then she was out with her Santa suit on, out with her mates, having her Christmas.
How can you not like Christmas?
She's controlled opposition for
Natalie.
Santa. She complains about Christmas. And now she's complaining about Disneyland. I guarantee you she's got an annual pass.
Oh my God. Ben's going to whisk her away to Disneyland.
Do you have a passport?
I do.
Okay, we're setting up a trip out to Disneyland in October for the Halloween season. Perhaps you should consider coming with us and doing it our way.
I would be open to it. I haven't been abroad since the whole before 4 years ago.
So I got a 7-seater car, so I'll just drive us.
We should take the RV.
We could take the RV, couldn't we?
See what you got yourself into now, Nat. You should have just said I love Disney. Now you're going to have to go there in October.
Now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I really don't want to ruin anybody else's time. I'm such a misery when I go to these places. I just moan. Oh, look at them. Oh, look at that. Oh, I hate this. Oh, but I could.
Sounds like a challenge there, Ben. Sounds like a challenge.
It does sound like a challenge.
But it is freedom of choice. I'm glad that you all enjoy it. That's what I'm not actually getting at anyone that enjoys it. Like the Christmas thing. We are joking about it. I do dislike Christmas. I always have done, but was never said to anyone, you have to be a Grinch like me. Go out and enjoy it if you like. I just enjoy being a Grinch and moaning at people and being a big old misery guts.
She does. She loves that.
Yep.
Yeah. I think we should probably start winding things down and wrapping things up. So before we do, I want you two to plug the hell out of your stuff and where anyone can find you, because some of these people may not have watched you. Plug your stuff.
Well, you can find me on Chasing Dissent.
Fuck off, John. Just fuck off.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking to me because I haven't said much tonight.
I think you've made the show with a couple of comments and coming out in that jumper as well, John.
Oh, yeah.
That was a special moment.
Yeah. Nat, where can people find you? Where can they find Natalie Cheale?
You can find me on my Twitter account that barely gets any interaction. I might be lucky sometimes if I get 5 likes on a post. So come, get the violins out. Come and see me on Twitter at World of NC, and of course on our show on TNT, Today's News Talk with me and Rick Open Line. We're on at 9 a.m. till 10. And when the clocks change, I get an extra hour in bed, and then it'll be 10 to 11. What is John doing?
I don't know.
He's trying to disguise himself.
But I'll not. My arms dealer equipment.
So
Did you hear that story, Rick, about me being an arms dealer?
I haven't heard that story yet. No, but I'm about to.
So, well, are you an actual arms dealer?
No, right,
or
Ben.
You've done lots of other stuff in the past, John.
I was never an actual arms dealer, but
I don't know what you're talking about.
One of the people that used to kind of try and annoy us on the channel they looked up my name and said he's an arms dealer. He's just been released from Saudi or something for dealing in arms.
Because somebody with the same name had.
Yeah.
So they started spreading a rumor that he was an arms dealer in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. And then we made a whole sketch about it for about a week, didn't we?
We got him dressed up as a Saudi and everything. It was good fun.
Yeah, it was.
It was, but you have not let Rick haul
himself out.
Listen, it's not if
no risk, no reward.
I've got a channel or a page on X or Twitter, no risk, no reward. That's it. And you can check out our output on TNT weekdays, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. At the minute, when the clocks go forward at the end of March, it'll be 10 a.m. and you can listen in on the website, TNTRadio.live, or on YouTube or Rumble or Odyssey, all the streaming platforms, or check out the TNT app, download it from the Google Play Store or the App Store, and then you can check out any back shows that you may have missed. There's a lot of content on there, so feel free to peruse and see what you think if you're not familiar with the station.
Right, John, I will throw the outro over to you, seeing as though you have moaned that you have not said much. But before I do, if you've enjoyed this show, please leave a like on it. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We'd really, really appreciate it. And if you can support us further, you can do so via a few means. You could go to patreon.com/Chasing Dissent, Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/Chasing Dissent, or indeed right here on YouTube, you can click that wonderful join button. Become a channel member. Obviously, we're in a cost of living crisis, so if you can't afford to, that's fair enough. John, over to you.
So, well, it's been great. It's been great for me. I hope it's been great for you, because as always, it's been great for you.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink, cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates, heart full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop off. Fuck you, you're lost. We all know that we never really want a boss. So I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. Yeah, I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking